Hang on. Just forgot something. Light rubbish in here. How is everybody? How are you? Sorry, I'm not very prepared today. Sucked into games of Game of Thrones. Come on. There we go. Ta-da! So, everybody, hi Rachel. If I'm looking a bit tangoed, it's because I faked tan this morning and I've not washed it off yet. Anyway, enough about that. There we go. Right, okay, so tonight we are talking about, hey Beth, how are you? Hi Anthony. I'll just wait for you to get on. How is everybody? Everyone having good weeks? Good day? Say Francesca. Good to see you. Nicola Liggins. How are you? Oh, I've had a very productive day. In fact, I've had a very productive week. It's been awesome. Very, very exciting stuff happening. Oh, it's so lovely when you just get in flow and get on with stuff, isn't it? Anyway, so tonight we're talking about what do you expect? Hi, Andrea. Hey, Beth. And what I mean by that is, what are your expectations of life? Hi, Zoe. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I don't actually think many people, so I'm just going to screen bigger. I don't think actually that many people give it much thought. And it's something that I'd not given much thought until I gave it some thought. And so it's like, what sort of standards do you live by? Like, what are your internal standards, non-negotiables? What do you expect out of life, and sort of your own standards about how you're treated, how your lifestyle is, what job you do, how you parent is all. You all have a set of standards. Hey Kelly, how are you? We all have a set of standards that we live by, but we don't actually speak them, do we? We don't really write them down. We don't think about them. We just know from a feeling that, this doesn't, I expect better than this. Or, this isn't exactly what I was expecting. I feel disappointed. So when you sort of know where your expectation levels are, because if they're not met, you feel disappointed. But have you actually articulated what those expectations are? And the reason I'm asking that is because if you actually, hey Craig, you right, dude? If you actually address and articulate what your standards are, could they be raised? Because our standards and what we expect out of life will be pretty much down to our life experience, our social conditioning, our upbringing, where we grew up, our parents. Hey Karen, how are you? And so we'll have a sort of set, and our standards will be similar to our families, like, unless you don't, you've got a disjointed relationship with your family and you've, blah, blah, blah. But if you've got, your general consensus will be, and your standards will be similar to those around you. But what I want you to sort of start asking yourself is it enough? Like, could I actually expect more from life? Because, one of the sayings that really irritates me is, don't get excited about it because then you won't be disappointed. Ugh. If that's your mentality, I'm calling you out on that, because it's so not how stuff works. So tonight I want to talk about expectation, vibration, and what was the other thing? There was loads of shuns. I've been distracted by my so I don't want to miss one out. Bear with. Yeah, and anticipation. I'll talk about that last. So the first point is, hi Amanda, is what do you know what your standards are in your life, in your, oh thanks, I fake tanned. That's it, it's the glow of fake tan. So in your life, how do you like to be treated? Wow, that's big, never even thought about it. I know, it is big, it's big. So how do I like to be treated? What is the standard I expect for myself within regards to how I treat myself, what my lifestyle looks like, what? Hey, Sarah. Why do I find myself saying hi? Good thanks. You can't leave me. Carrie, babe, I do it all the time. I was on a live yesterday with somebody else and they went bye and I was like bye. And the thing is, I do this, so I know it doesn't work. Hi, Claire. Hey, Sally. Yeah, it's very funny. I'll wave anyway because I can feel it. I can feel your energy. Anyway, so okay, so in your life, how do you like to be treated? What's your standard of living? What do you how do you expect things to go for you? Like, what's your expectation level for things going well? And this my game of this was raised today. I was watching an amazing girl that I watch. She's an American coach, and she her name is Amanda Francis, and she's crazy. Like, she's a money coach, business coach, and her Instagram's insane, so check her out. But she was just like, I was watching a training of hers, and she just sort of totally raised my game on this. I was just like, oh my God, like, what are you expecting? And one thing I'll share with you, hi Wendy, hi Rebecca, hey Amanda, how are you? See, I'm waving at her. This is a really big thing, because what I realized is that more often than not, and I'll share this as a bit of a personal thing, is that more often than not, I expect things to go wrong. I expect it not to work out. This is what I was doing, and it's something I still have to work on. So, as you know, I've been working for myself for the last sort of 7 years now, and sometimes it's gone bloody brilliantly, and I've been, earning loads of money and really enjoying it and really happy, and I'm really fulfilled. And then I was earning loads of money, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled, and I was starting to question, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And then, so it's been, as Cheryl Cole would say, a roller coaster of emotions. I won't try and do that accent. So it's been a roller coaster. So, but what I realize is because of past experiences, from being a kid, from past relationships, is that I had this expectation that things are just going to go wrong. Like, things aren't going to work out for me. Why would they work out for me? Things like that don't happen to somebody like me, from where I'm from all that bullshit excuses that you come up with. And it's sort of like my default expectation. So when this was highlighted to me, I was just a bit like, shit, like, I need to raise my expectation levels and expect things to work out. And I'm a really positive, glass half full optimist. Like, I identify as that kind of person. So it made me think, I was like, oh, if I'm like that, like, and I, like I said, I'm an optimist, eternal optimist, almost on the, some would say deluded in some ways, but I think you need to be in order to build your own business and to have big goals. You've got to have that area of delusion to you, because if not, you'd give up. Trust me, it's hard. Like, hey Jessica, hey Julie, hey Andy. Hi Andy, how are you? Anthony, I literally expect nothing, because I wasn't raised in a goal-oriented environment. You just expect where you were. And that was that. Exactly. Now, how many other people feel like that? How many other people feel like that? So imagine going through life. Hey Lisa, imagine going through life, just getting what you get, expecting what you get, just dealing with what you get. This is it. This is my bed. This is the cards I've been dealt. I hate that phrase. This is the cards I've been dealt. I grew up in this town, so I can't be successful. Only people who come from here are successful. I've heard it all. Trust me. Sally, wish I was as positive as you. You can be. It takes work. Sally, let me just say on a personal note, whenever anyone sees me on here, I am my full energy, full self. And this is how I am a lot of the time. However, do not be fooled that I don't get really pissed off sometimes, really angry at everything, feel really sorry for myself, and, and have a temper tantrum every now and again, because I do. We're all human. The point is that everything is a choice. So I will have what I call a pity party, which I've got down to about 5 minutes. So I have a 5-minute pity party. If something goes to shit, I go, right, I've got 5 minutes to feel sorry for myself about it, and then I'm going to make a different decision. Because once you get, I'm going a bit off piece here, but it's relevant. I want to address Sally's point. Because once you realize that you have choice, every single moment of your life, you have a choice. If someone's horrible to you, you have a choice to be horrible back or to give love. Now, don't difficult choices, but it's still a choice. And when I talk about, hi Lorraine, when I talk about emotional mastery and being the master of your emotions, it's just another way of saying it, that's what I mean. Emotional intelligence is being able to feel it and decide what to do with it. Like that's what this is, you know, that's one of the reasons I do what I do, is to teach people how to do that. And positive, being a cup half, you know, cup half full kind of person is, thanks babes, my roots need doing. She was just saying like, yeah. Being a cup half full person, if you've been brought up in a cup half empty, you know, environment, surrounded by people who have, don't, you know, the type of people that say, don't get excited about it because then you won't be disappointed. And there's nothing wrong with those people. I'm not being mad at those people. I'm just saying there's a different way and there's a different choice. And why, if you knew there was, why wouldn't you take it? And being more positive is just not reacting in the moment and going, do you know what? How can I look at this in a different way? How can I call it PRing it. How can I PR this to myself so it serves me? Like, how can I feel, hello, how can I take the situation? Because there's this saying, right, and it says, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So everything that happens for you is there to either teach you something, you can learn from it, you can grow from it. And the things that are the really challenging things, and I mean everything, you know, loss of people, redundancy, job loss, financial problems, relationship problems, everything is there as an opportunity for you to grow from it and to learn from it and to become more. Like, but people don't make a choice. People don't think they have a choice, and they do. So being more positive really is just a choice. So you can be more positive today. You can be, hey from New Zealand. Oh, got all international, how amazing. Hi, Joe. Jen, I'm not going to try and pronounce your name. Jensen with an extra S. Amazing. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, so being more positive is just a choice. You don't have to do loads of work on it. You can just choose and set the intention to do that. So wake up in the morning and go, do you know what? Today I'm going to choose, you know, so I'm not saying I choose it. It's such a good, and it's got such a good energy behind it. So I can choose to have a different outlook. Hi, Melanie. Hey, Beth. Hey, Sarah. You know, I can choose to have a different outlook on this. I can choose not to, hey, Tendy, private joke, sorry. I can choose to respond differently to this. I can choose to not bite his head off when he says that thing again. And I'm going to do a whole other live on if you're having a consistent same argument with your partner. If you're just arguing about one thing and it's the same thing, then there's loads of stuff we can talk about that, but that's for another live and not what I'm talking about today. But yeah, so everyone can be more positive, everybody can have a better outlook, and everybody can have better expectations if they choose to. End of. And I'm sorry it's that simple, but it really is. But it does take practice, and we're all human, so, you know, don't beat yourself up if you can't do it immediately. Okay, so back to the subject in hand. So I was talking about what do we expect out of life, right? Thanks, Sarah. Love you, miss you. Hey, Sarah, Sharon. What about relationships? What's your expectation level? And this is something that's been really, really relevant for me in the past. What do you expect from a relationship? Do you expect to feel that you always love them more than they love you? Do you expect that it's okay for them to be, tag me in your next video, please, Charlotte. I think I would be able to relate. Yes, honey, I will do. You know, do you expect to be spoken to like shit? Because that's how it's always been. Do you expect to be cheated on? And there is a whole other subject on that, because the reason I'm talking about expectations, just to get on a bit of a serious note now, is because you get what you expect. And so if you constantly expect people to treat you like shit and to betray you then that's what will happen. And the reason that happens is because the energy you give off, and you know, I know there's a lot of people on here who, I mean, if you're tuning into me, and most of you who are on do tune into me regularly, so I'm assuming you like what I do, which is awesome. Thank you, I love your support. Hi Haley. But there will be people who just fall onto this and think, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, I mean, what are you talking about? So I just want to give you a little crash course in energy and what it means. And I do talk a lot about law of attraction, but I just want to talk to you in the terms of energy, because then it makes it less woo-woo and more palatable for those who don't get what I'm talking about. So every thought we have, everything we say, every feeling we have has an energetic a vibration. And that's just physics. Like if you were to put a microscope on this table 1,000,000 times, you would see lots of moving parts. We are energetic cellular beings, right? And so our feelings and our thoughts have an energetic frequency. And so whatever we give off, we attract. So in physics, energy attracts like energy. So two things that have a similar energy are attracted to each other. So the best way I can describe this in sort of in a way that everyone will understand is, you know, when you've been out, girls in heels, you'll relate. You know, when you've been out and it's 3 a.m. and you've been out since 7, like this ever happens to me now. But remember the days, girls, because I think most of you that are on are either my age or older, or, you know, a little bit younger. So you remember you've been out and you're absolutely knackered, your feet are killing you, and a song comes on, you're literally dropping dead, like you're ready to go home, and a song comes on that you absolutely love. And in that moment, your energy, your pain's gone from your feet. And anyone who knows me and has been out with me dancing will know that this happens to me a lot. So Sarah Spencer has been with me on a billion occasions when this has happened. So my feet will be killing me and a song comes on that I love, and suddenly the pain is gone, because the energy that feeling creates in me gives me a boost of energy, boost of adrenaline, boost of energy, right? When you're feeling sad and depressed, you feel tired all the time. So thoughts and feelings have an energy attached to them. So how do you think it plays out if you spend your entire day with a low expectation and you have a low vibrational energetic frequency? So what are you going to, if the physics is right, and it is, because people far cleverer than me have proven it, if you are vibrating, let's call it, if you are vibrating at a low vibration, what are you going to be attracting? Low shit to you, okay? And if you are high vibe, and I'm not going to get all hippie on you, but let's just talk about it. You know, if you're vibrating, so I am quite a high vibe person, right? I feel that I do bring energy to a conversation or a situation or a party or whatever. And if you're that type of person, people respond to you. You attract people to you because you have a high energy. People like to be around high energy things, right? So I'm not just talking about me, but I'm just talking about as an example of vibration. So if you expect shit to always go wrong, if you expect to be treated like shit, then you will be, because that's what you're giving off. And it's not attractive. And it's not a nice thing to be around. So what can happen is, especially in relationships, and this is especially where jealousy comes in. This is why jealousy is such a low vibration, toxic emotion, because what you're doing, hey Stephanie, hey Marie, hey Hannah, hey Sky, how are you? So when you're, you know, in that thing of suspiciousness and accusing and constant, you know, you're grating on you, how do you think that, is that a nice thing to be around? No. And you don't have to say anything to have that effect on somebody else. You know, when you're in a bad mood and you're just vile, you know, you'll repel people. That's energy. That's what that is, you know. So even if you don't understand what I'm talking about and you're not into all that, then you'll still know what I'm talking about with in regards to, you'll know that person at work that's a right mardy git, and never, you know, you don't want to be around them. Why would you want to be around them? They just don't give off. I I've just had a memory pop in. Sarah Spencer will remember this. We were sat outside. This is 20 years ago. We were sat outside All Bar One. This is funny, so I'm going to bring it in. And a friend of ours, I'll not name her, but a friend of ours who's quite hippie, this guy came over for a light, and he just had this horrible energy about him. He just wasn't a nice person. He came over and got a light for his cigarette. And when he walked off, my friend went, "Oh God, he's got really bad vibes." Like he smelled. Vibes for a smell. Oh, do you remember that, Sarah? It's so funny. Anyway, I'm making light of it now, but this is what I'm talking about. So your expectation of how you are treated and your non-negotiables of actually how life looks for you, if you analyze it, I bet you that you could raise it. And that actually, once you start expecting more will start to show up. And whether that's more love, more success, more money, more whatever it is you want more of, ask yourself, hey Lisa, what is my standard here? What is my minimum? And one of the things, excuse me, that's nice. One of the things that I watched on this live today that I was watching was that, as well, financially, people have a minimum that they work to, and they have the maximum that they believe they could earn. Imagine if you raised that. Imagine if you expected more. What do you think would happen in your life? What do you think could happen? And I've done this, so I know this is true. And how do you create those? I wouldn't know where to start. So you create it by becoming aware of where it is. So most of my life, my coach calls it her warrior line. So we're going to talk about money for a minute. Let's just talk about money. She talks about a warrior line. So that is the line that you don't allow your account to go below. And then over time, you raise it and raise it and raise it and raise it, if that's what you want to do. And so like my warrior line used to be like minus 50 quid overdrawn, in fact more sometimes. And so over time you raise it. But think about if you did that with your entire life. So first thing is, okay, this is where I am. This is actually what I expect from a relationship. This is actually how I expect to be treated by people. This is what I expect in my working life, in my career. This is how I expect my kids to talk to me. This is how, all these standards. And obviously these are all great, you can play around with them. But awareness of where they are first. And then, okay, is this actually how I want my life to be? Like, is this a pure and great representation of exactly how I want my life to carry on? Because a lot of the time people want more, but don't raise their standards in order to get more. Because, getting more, love, friendship, connection, money, career, whatever, getting more starts with us, doesn't it? You can't earn 10 grand a month if you're not the kind of person that earns 10 grand a month. You can't just, so start from the real place you're in. So literally start where you're at. And this is something I learned from Tony Robbins, right? This is a 4-step process. Amphi, I'll give you this. So step 1 is identify your truth. Like, where are you now? Life-wise, you can do this in each pocket: life, love, business. Like, where am I? What's the truth of where I am, right? What habits and rituals keep me there? So I'll use weight as an example for this. So for instance, I'll use myself because that's fair. Hey Donna, hey Nicola, hey Janine. So if you are, say, half stone overweight or 10 pounds overweight, right? And that's your reality, that's your truth where you are, but you want to be more, then what habits and rituals keep you there? And so that might be for me when I'm not on it, because I am at the moment. When I'm not on it, that will be me not getting up in the morning and exercising, not really having breakfast till about 11, then having a couple of biscuits and a cup of tea. And I eat generally really, really well, but that's a bad day for me because when I'm having a bad day, I don't eat enough. It's not that I overeat. So that's the habit. And it's not one big thing. It's lots of tiny little rituals that keep us at that level. Okay. So step 3. So step 1 is, where's the truth of where you're at? Step 2 is identify the rituals and the habits that keep you there. Step 3 is, what do you want? So now we've established what your lines are. What do you want? Like, what are the what do you want it to look like? What do you want to look like? What do you want to feel like? How do you want your relationship to be? How do you want your job to be? How do you want to be treated at work? Blah, blah, blah. Where are you there? And what habits are going to get you there? Because everybody is a result of their rituals and their habits. And, you know, a marathon runner has a different set of rituals than a couch potato. And the results are the same. And you can apply this to absolutely every area of your life. So, and then what you do is you go, right, okay, and it's like, and unfortunately, it's the subtle little things over time, compounded over time, that make the difference in all areas of your life, in all areas, financially, career-wise, relationship-wise, everything is just, you are a product of your habits and your rituals. And that starts, I believe, with your expectation. Now, just to move on to, I've talked about expectation, I've talked about vibration. Now I want to talk about anticipation. Because what is the most delicious feeling? Yeah, like anticipation. So when you're excited about a holiday, your birthday, Christmas, other things that you go create, anticipation about, that's one of the best feelings ever. Imagine if you had a state of anticipation, positive, expectation and anticipation for life. Like, what if you woke up every day and expected it to be wicked? Now, is it always going to be wicked? No. But isn't feeling that a much better way to live than to wake up thinking, oh God, another day? I'd rather be, I'd rather feel that way. And while ever there is breath in me, I will always live that way, because it has got me through some tough times. Like, it has got me through some really, really challenging, emotionally draining, tough times. And whenever someone's in a difficult position, and especially like clients I work with who are going through really shit times, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, how you're feeling won't last. Like, it doesn't, nothing bad lasts. And that time frame can be shortened if you expect it to get better. But when we're in this mindset, imagine if you get a real massive life challenge, a serious thing that really knocks you for six, and your general expectation of life is that everything goes to shit, then how long do you think it's going to take you to get out of that mindset? Are you ever going to get out of that mindset? Or is everything bad that happens to you another thing that knocks you further and further down? Okay. So the reason I think this is so important is because if we all recognize what those moments, what our standards are, what we expect from life, and changing our feel set, love that word, changing our mindset and our feel set around life, love, business, career, money, if we just raised our standards to a point where, and it doesn't have to be massive, it could just be, I'm going to have 10 quid more in my account than I did at the end of last month. I'm going to tell him I love him one more time than I normally do. I'm going to give my kids an extra cuddle before they go to sleep. It isn't massive. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be grand statements. It's little subtle things that over time, the compound effect, brilliant book, Darren Hardy, if you want interested in that. The compound effect of all those things creates an incredible life. It's not one big statement, one big action. It's the insidious little, is it insidious, is that the right word? Don't know. It's the little subtle changes that happen during life that change things. So I'm not going to go on because I've been going on for a while. So I've pretty much covered everything. So think about a little formula, right? Positive expectation equals high energy. High energy equals high energy things coming into our lives. That's the easiest way I can describe it. On the opposite side of that is low expectation, low vibe shit hanging out in your life. And that's literally as simple as that. And you can believe in it or not, but trust me, if you start to change how you feel deliberately through choice and start expecting things to go better, then they will. Because those people who say, oh, I'm so lucky I win everything. The reason they do that is because that's what they expect. It's not rocket science. You get what you expect, period. And you get what you think you deserve. And so if you raise your standards and actually start thinking, no, I deserve more than this, I deserve to feel better than this, then that's where that's where it starts. Awesome. Okay, so thanks for that. Thank you for all your comments. Any questions on that specifically, I will be doing a live Q&A at the end of this month in my private Facebook group. If you want to join that, I will put the link above. And also I'm booking free calls for people who would like to really dive in deep with this. Hey, Rachel. And start and do my online course when it's launched in a few months. So I'm starting to talk to people about that and putting that out there. So if you want to actually get some real support on this and taken through a completely transformational journey, sorting all your shit out, learning how to love yourself unconditionally, and learning how to manifest and attract and bring all these wonderful things into your life, it's 18 weeks with me. On a weekly basis, group calls, all that. The details will be to follow, but I'm just putting it out there that that's what's happening soon. So if you're interested in a call about that, then just inbox me. Thank you for listening. Thanks for all your participation, as always. I hope that was thought-provoking and interesting, and I'll see you next week. Bye.